Good evening. I am Irene Elia, candidate for mayor of the city of Niagara Falls. I would like to thank you for taking the time to tune in tonight and allow me to come into your home. Tuesday, September 14th, is primary election day. That day is of utmost importance to you, your family, and the future of this city, a city we all love so deeply. September 14th will decide what candidates will face each other in the November general election. With your support and hard work, I intend to be one of those candidates. On September 14th, we take the first step in deciding who will lead our city into the new millennium. Realistically, I ask you to look at where we have been and where we are. The city of Niagara Falls desperately needs stronger management. Our city must bring you, the people, back into government. Together, we can head in a direction that will bring about a cleaner, friendlier city. What has gone on in city government over the last 8 years divided our community, alienated the people from public officials, and severely tarnished our image. Image is important to any city, but to a city that is calling out for new development, a city that is a prime tourist destination, image is of the utmost importance. I truly believe that real development begins from within. The rehabilitation of the Love Canal area is a positive example of people wanting to stay here, but the failure of the city in its commitment for a new park and the cleanup around the 93rd Street school area is proof that the current administration is deaf to the pleas of our neighborhoods. Neighborhood master plans are a key to improving and maintaining our city, block by block, area by area. As much as problems in our neighborhoods are the same, every neighborhood has its own particular concerns. Working together with the City Council, appointing qualified department heads to our management team, and actively seeking state and federal grant dollars, we will address the needs of our neighborhood. As much as our physical image, this city must improve its service image at City Hall and within all municipal offices. Smiles and personal greetings will replace half-hearted directions and taped messages. The taxpayers of this city deserve personal contact, courteous service, and a chance to communicate with those employees whose salary they pay. As we seek to revitalize this community, let us look to Main Street as the catalyst. Try to imagine a street in any other city that has an international bridge on each end of it. You can't. But our Main Street does. Main Street houses our City Hall, main post office, our library, the center of our legal and banking offices, our armory, and the historic Carnegie Building. I pledge to make Main Street our Main Street once again. The redevelopment of the North End will become a priority in the future plans of this city. Can you imagine that our community, a city of less than 60,000 people, is home to one of the most beautiful natural wonders in God's world? Imagine our community, a city one-half the size it was 35 years ago, is still one of the most visited tourist destinations in the Western world. I believe this municipality must become more directly involved in the marketing and programming relevant to the falls themselves. It is the intention of the Elia administration to actively research the feasibility of creating a city department of tourism. For far too long, the tourism initiatives in the city of Niagara Falls have been left in the hands of ex-official committees or committee appointees. City Hall should and will become more directly involved in our tourism future. A source of much controversy throughout the last decade has been the privatization of city services. Lessons are to be learned from the recent privatization of sanitation. A city, like any other entity, must live within the law. No government has the right to avoid or ignore existing binding contracts. The Galley administration's decision to privatize sanitation services without due process will become an expensive lesson for all of us. We cannot disregard existing agreements with our city workers. I strongly believe that our municipal workforce can provide the necessary services to protect and improve the quality of life for all residents. What we need to do is install qualified managers or department heads who can provide the necessary supervision to maximize job efficiency among city workers. Instead of being a point of concern, municipal services should become a source of pride. At the same time, our wastewater and water facilities should be researched as new sources of revenue. Revenues that will prevent increased taxes for our home and business owners. A final point regarding the privatization of sanitation. This city has been ordered to reinstate sanitation, and the Elia administration will do so immediately. It should not be the position of any government to sit in direct defiance of a mandated court action. This delay is costing the taxpayers more and more money, while only avoiding the inevitable. Simple communication and proper legal advice might have well avoided this sad, sad situation. The concepts of the Niagara Falls Redevelopment Corporation were welcomed by many people when the plans were on paper. Unfortunately, little progress has been made, and not a single development has seen the light of day. I intend to meet with the principals involved and demand a full accounting of where Niagara Falls redevelopment sits in its overall plan. While Mrs. Girasitano speaks of looking for loopholes in the contract, I believe a strong call for accountability is more appropriate. If Niagara Falls redevelopment is failing on its end, it must be held accountable. As a former hospital administrator, having served 9 years as Director of Research and Planning at Niagara University, and currently serving my 11th year as Executive Director of the Health Association of Niagara County Incorporated, I believe I can offer this city the business, planning, and management credentials its leaders should have. But again, effective leaders are only as good as the people with whom they surround themselves. I intend to search out the most qualified of professionals, requiring those hired to live in the city of Niagara Falls. I hear so much about the vast improvements to our parks and recreation facilities. While some improvements are obvious, the overall condition of our parklands is far from acceptable. The newly constructed waterfront park opened in 1997, largely through state bond monies, has been left unattended and allowed to fall into disrepair. Our waterfront access, our waterfront development has become non-existent. It is my intention to actively recruit state aid to develop waterfront parks along the Niagara River as identified in the statewide outdoor recreation plan. Fisherman's Park in North Tonawanda, Niawanda Park in the city of Tonawanda, and Erie County's Iode View Park are links in a linear park from the mouth of the Buffalo River to the city of Niagara Falls. Our commitment will be to actively pursue and complete our portion of the Recreation Master Plan, creating a linear park that can be enjoyed for generations to come. Is there any sight more disturbing than the view of abandoned, half-collapsed industrial buildings along Buffalo Avenue? As soon as our administration settles in City Hall, we will actively approach federal officials to expand our brownfields assistance. So much of this tainted property recalls our past, hinders our present, and threatens our future. We have no intention of looking the other way any longer. A proactive administration will knock on doors in Lockport, Albany, and Washington. We will clean up our entranceways. No single issue has gained more attention locally than the levels of public safety in the city of Niagara Falls. Time can only tell what impact previous cuts have made on our city's safety services. Still, we must be prepared to maintain adequate levels to ensure the safety of all persons and property. Again, we are prepared to recruit an outside agency to study the levels of fire and police protection within the city of Niagara Falls. One of the most pressing needs facing the next administration at City Hall will be an overhaul of the municipal budget process. Unauthorized transfers not only threaten the very integrity of the budget program, they are a direct affront to the taxpayers and a most serious challenge to controlled accountability. Such practices will not continue under an Elia administration. The budget, a legally adopted plan, will be followed. As we reopen the doors of communication at City Hall, we will reach out to all segments of our community. Efforts will pinpoint needs in all areas. Roads and sidewalk programs will target safety threats in LaSalle and the North End. Recreation programs will expand utilization of the 13th Street Center, and the Youth Bureau will be moved away from the Corporation Yard. What a sad message we sent when the city moved our Youth Bureau offices within several hundred feet of the Corporation Yard trash pile. Respect for human service programs and the clients they serve will be a top priority come January 1st, 2000. As I leave you tonight, I want to share this closing thought. Other individuals who are candidates for mayor of the city of Niagara Falls have been part of the process, whether it be a legislative or executive role. To turn this city around, Niagara Falls needs a professional manager, a proven administrator. Questions have been raised about my ability to get along with people. Though I believe I possess the necessary human relations skills to become the diplomat this city needs, I accept it as a hidden compliment that my opponents have never questioned my ability to get the job done. As you get to know Irene Elia, I believe that you will come to appreciate me as a caring, sincere person. I trust by then I will have proven that I am the right choice to get down to the business of rebuilding our city. Thank you for sharing this evening. On Tuesday, September 14th, I respectfully ask for your vote, as together we take the first step toward improving...
Cable theft. It's